How's it going, everybody? My name is Rinzler here, back again for another video, and welcome back to the Rinzler Network. Today we're going to be taking a deviation of sorts away from the dark, broody world of Tim Burton, and we're going to be instead focusing on the light and colorful aspects of Nickelodeon. Well, I do believe this is only going to be a one-time thing, because Drake and Josh is the only Nickelodeon show I can comfortably say I still watch. But I didn't really remember how much I liked this show until recently when a YouTuber, whose name I don't remember, he made a video talking about how his favorite episode of Drake and Josh was the Treehouse episode. And I disagree. I think that there's an episode that's better than the Treehouse episode. And that's basically what I want to talk about today. This video is in no way trying to bash his video. This is just a matter of personal opinion. This is the episode that I like the most. This is the episode of Drake and Josh I find myself rewatching more than any other episode. And there are a myriad of amazing episodes of Drake and Josh to choose from, and this is just one of many great episodes, but in my opinion, this is the best episode of the series. So without further ado, let's talk about the best episode of Drake and Josh. Now, a little context, Drake and Josh was a beloved teen sitcom from the early 2000s Nickelodeon, and it was actually a spin-off of The Amanda Show, which Drake and Josh were cast members of. The creator of the show, Dan Schneider, saw comedic potential in the two boys, and after The Amanda Show flopped, Drake and Josh was aired in 2004 to critical acclaim. The four-season series follows two stepbrothers named Drake Parker and Josh Nichols. Drake is the popular, handsome, and irresponsible guitarist, while Josh is the fun-loving, responsible, nerdier character. At the beginning of the series, Drake wants nothing to do with Josh, and only interacts with him at all reluctantly. But as the show progresses, Drake learns to be more responsible, and Josh learns to become more confident in himself. They become real brothers through their comedic shenanigans, but more memorably, their arguments. These two argued a lot on the show, and some of them are more memorable than others. One of the most justified arguments that the brothers shared was in Season 3, Episode 10, when Drake and his girlfriend completely ruined the dinner that Josh had been planning for his girlfriend Mindy and her parents. To quote Josh in this episode, "You see what you do? One night I ask you to help me, and you ruin it. I told you how important this was to me. I told you this was my last chance to impress Mindy's parents. I spent like 2 days working on this dinner, and I spent like $300 on a dumb harpist who at this point should stop playing. And I don't even care what you think of Mindy, because I love her, and now I'll never get to see her again because you ruined it. You wrecked my dinner, you wrecked my $100 ice sculpture, and you wrecked my relationship." In my opinion, these arguments were some of the best scenes in any Nickelodeon show, period. They create a lot of great character-changing moments, and it's this element that makes Season 4, Episode 11, Josh is Done, my personal favorite episode in the series. In this episode, Josh is studying heavily for a very important chemistry exam for a strict teacher. Drake, meanwhile, is lazing about playing ping pong. He convinces Josh to take a break, and they play ping pong together, with highly exaggerated tones right out of an anime. The next morning, Josh is late to school because Drake leaves without him and runs over Josh's bike. Because their chemistry teacher doesn't allow students to participate in class if they're late, Josh is locked out of the classroom despite all that hard work he put into studying. He's now required to go to school on the weekend and be knocked down a letter grade. Now, this creates one of two reactions. Younger viewers will probably laugh at Josh's misfortunes, while all of us older viewers will be pissed at Drake for ruining Josh's chances at passing an exam that he studied so hard for. Later on, Drake tries to cheer Josh up with a sit and bounce, but Josh isn't buying it. Drake tries to apologize and asks why Josh is still mad at him, and he simply responds with, "I'm not mad at you. I'm done. I guess we'll be roommates until I leave for college, but that's all we'll ever be is roommates. I'm done with you." Even Megan, who's nearby and normally takes delight in seeing these two brothers fight, can't help but say whoa at seeing what just happened. Even Drake, who's normally the most confident guy in the world, is totally speechless and doesn't know what to make of the situation. Drake pretends to be so confident, saying that Josh will just crawl back to him after a couple of days, saying that Josh needs him more than Drake needs him. But when 5 days pass and Josh is still done with Drake, he becomes noticeably more worried. Drake starts to become depressed. He spends entire days in bed badly playing guitar and breaking the strings. Even Megan stops tormenting the boys because Drake is too depressed to care what happens to him anymore. Josh, meanwhile, begins to have a better life. His 3 year rash goes away. He and his boss start getting along better. He makes new friends at work, passes his makeup exam, and gains a lot of confidence. Drake's life is just going more and more down the drain while Josh's succeeds. One day, Drake arrives in class to find that he and Josh are no longer lab partners and that he now has to sit with a nerdy boy named Clayton. Due to his speech impediment, Clayton is unable to tell Drake how to mix the right chemicals, and so Drake spills chemicals everywhere and is forcibly thrown in the power shower, a scalding hot bacterial shower in the back of the room. When Drake is let out, he refuses to sit back down, and with tears in his eyes, he yells to Josh at the back of the room, "I was wrong, okay? I was wrong. I need you more than you need me. I need you way more than you need me. Alright, I'm sorry. Man, I'm sorry I made you late for your exam, and I'm sorry I ran over your bike, and I'm sorry that I'm probably the worst brother in the world, and you're way better off without me. I'm sorry, Josh, I'm sorry." Drake then leaves the room, and the normally strict teacher talks calmly to Josh and asks him if he wants to go and talk to Drake, but Josh says no with some hesitancy. Later on, while Drake is lying down on the ping pong table, Josh comes into the room and speaks like he's in an anime, just like at the beginning of the episode when they were playing ping pong. Drake then puts on the same voice, and the pair play ping pong together, finally making amends at becoming brothers once again. This episode is so well acted. Don't get me wrong, I love the funnier things in the show as well, but this episode was all about the characters, and it did an amazing job dealing with very mature elements like jealousy and depression. In my personal opinion, this is the greatest episode of Drake and Josh. This show, of course, has a myriad of amazing episodes to choose from, like Grammy. Grammy's another great episode, and so is Really Big Shrimp. There's some really great episodes of Drake and Josh. And to say that there's one episode I like more than all the others was difficult, but I have to say this is the episode I find myself watching the most because it's so emotional. It creates a weird dynamic for the viewer. On one hand, you're happy to see that Josh has gotten so much more confident in himself, but at the same time, you're sad to see how far and low Drake is becoming due to his depression of the situation. Like, you know that Drake deserved to get his ass kicked basically for like just abandoning Josh at home and running over his bike and basically causing this sequence of events for Josh, these terrible sequence of events. You want to see Drake get what's coming to him, but at the same time, when it actually happens, you feel really bad for Drake. And you realize, and like during the episode, Drake, he's not used to not having Josh there beside him. I mean, he lazes about on the ping pong table because he has nobody to play with because Josh doesn't want to play with him anymore. He can't, he expects that Josh is going to fill the car with enough gas for both of them, but he only fills enough gas for him. So, Drake has to get used to not having Josh in his life. He has to get used to not getting free tickets to movies. In fact, Josh calls security to forcibly remove Drake from the theater when he tries to just walk in a movie without a ticket. I mean, it's sad to see Drake falling so low because of his stubbornness. He's so stubborn that Josh needs him, that Josh cannot succeed in life without Drake. But now it's during this episode you realize that Drake is wrong. Drake can't live without Josh. And, just hearing him pour his heart out to Josh in the classroom and just saying how sorry he is and coming to the realization that he's been wrong this whole time and that he does need Josh more than Josh needs him. It's a really sad moment, and it's probably one of the most well-acted scenes in the entirety of any Nickelodeon sitcom, at least in my opinion. And just seeing, like, Josh come back home, he never even says it's okay, and he never brings up what happened in the classroom. He just goes home and pretends that everything's okay. And him and Drake are finally able to just get along and have fun and play ping pong together. and it's just such a satisfying way to end the series. Just seeing this depressed Drake, slowly smile when he comes to the realization that Josh is back and he wants to be his brother again. It's just great stuff. Drake and Josh is hands down my favorite Nickelodeon show, animated or not. I love this show. I rewatch it even nowadays, and it just never gets old to me. It never even feels all that dated. It feels like it's still applied to rules of the real world. And I just love this show so much. And if you haven't seen this episode, season 4, episode 11, Josh is done. If you haven't seen it yet, then what are you waiting for? I can't do this episode justice in just words. This is something that just has to be seen to be believed. So anyway, guys, thank you for enjoying this video. If you enjoyed it, remember to give it a thumbs up. Share this video with all of your friends and all of your various social media platforms. Ring that notification bell. Let me know in the comments down below what you liked and didn't like about this video. And I will see all you dudes and chicks in the next video.